Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you the 12 series that I actually have on my shelf, and they are either not finished or I have not caught up on with the series yet. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. The first series which I have on my shelf is The Inheritance Cycle Quartet by Christopher Paolini. This is a fantasy series that starts off as a middle grade series and then evolves into YA, I think. I've read the first book alone, which is Aragon. There are three other books in the series, which are Eldest, Brissinger, and Inheritance. Okay, I've got the first and the last books in paperback and the middle two books in hardcover. All of them are really good in condition. I don't know when I'll be reading them for sure, but I'll definitely read these. And I'm also trying to read at least one of these books by the end of this year. So let's just see what's going to happen. The next one is the Millennium Trilogy by Stieg Larsson. This has only 3 books, hence a trilogy. The first one is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I've raved upon a lot on this channel. I also have a dedicated review. I'll try to link it down in the description. The next one is The Girl Who Played with Fire, which I'm going to read this one for sure. Actually, after filming and editing these videos, today I'm going to start reading this, and I'm sure that I'll finish this month. And the last book in the series is The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, which is a huge chunk. You can just see, I think it's over 800 pages long. I don't know when I'll be reading this, but I'm sure that I'll be reading this month. The next one is the Discworld series. Now, the Discworld series actually has a total of over 40 books, but of those, I just own 6 books, and I've read 2 books alone. One is a paperback, and the rest 5 are hardcovers. The first one, which is The Color of Magic, I have it in paperback. I couldn't just find it out right now. And the rest are 5 hardcovers, which are Jingo, which I'm going to read this month. I Shall Wear Midnight. I don't know when I'll be reading this. Going Postal, which I just read last month, and Monstrous Regiment, and the last one, which is The Fifth Elephant. Now, if any of you have read any of these 4 books which I have not read, do tell me how they are, because I'm very much pumped for this series rather than anything else, because it's satire fantasy that was so funny, so weird, so smug. I just loved it a lot. And if you have read any of these books, do tell me which is better. Okay. The next one is the Mistborn series by Sanderson. Actually, this series is split into 2 halves, the first era and the second era. The first era has 3 books trilogy, and the next era is another trilogy. I just have the first book in the first era alone, and I'm sure that I'll be loving this series a lot, because I've read the 2 standalone works by Sanderson, which are Elantris and Warbreaker. I have dedicated reviews for both of them. I'll try to link them also down in the description. Now, this series is about people who can actually ingest metals and use them for their magic. The magic in this world actually comes out of the metals, and also that in this book it rains ash. In this world it rains ash and also ashes, and the villain is the actual person who's in the rule right now. I don't know when I'll be getting to this one, but I'm sure that I'll be starting this once I get my hands on the next 2 books, because I have to have the entire series, because I'm sure that I'll be liking this a lot after reading it, and I want to continue the series. So I'll be reading this as soon as I get the next 2 books in the series. The next one is actually Duology, and I have the first book alone in the Duology, and it is The Strange the Dreamer Duology by Laini Taylor. Now, I have started this book. I just started it on the 1st of July, and I've read like 30 pages of the book. It is good, but it is really tough to read, guys, because I know I went into the book knowing that the writing is not normal. It has a lot of description. It is so flowery, but it is way too flowery than I wanted it to be. But I'm just loving it, because it is such a slow reading experience, and it is really good. But I'm sure that while I end up reading this book, I will be making a dedicated review for this one, because this has the greatest potential of becoming one of my most favorite books in the future, because I'm just loving the experience of reading this. The second book is Muse of Nightmares, which I don't have right now, but once I end up reading this, I'll get that one also. The next series is one which I have not even started upon, and I watched this TV series alone based on this trilogy, and it is the His Dark Materials trilogy by Phillip Pullman. Now, it has 3 books, hence a trilogy, just as before. The first one is Northern Lights, or The Golden Compass. The second one is The Amber Spyglass, and the third one is The Subtle Knife. Sorry, the second one is The Subtle Knife, and the third one is The Amber Spyglass. I just mixed it up. And in this, we have a lot of things going on. Okay, it's dark, and that's why I like it a lot. And I have not started it yet, but I'm sure that I'll be starting these soon. I'm going to try to finish reading this trilogy by the end of this year. I don't know if it will be possible, but I'm highly positive that it will happen. Let's see, because This is something which I've been wanting to read for almost over a year right now, and I have the actual entire series. Let's see when I'm going to finish this. The next series is something which is related to His Dark Materials because it happens in the same world, and it is the Book of Dust series, also by Phillip Pullman. I got this book also nearly a year and a half back, and the second book has come out like last year or this year, I don't remember properly. I have not read this. I didn't read this mainly because I wanted to read His Dark Materials first. I had to get an idea of the world and then move on to this one. That's one of the main reasons why I have not read this yet. But once I finish reading that, I'll surely pick up this as soon as I can. The next series is not a fantasy series. It is an adventure series, and that's very different for me. I've read the first book alone, but I have the second book with me, which is the Tunnels series by Rodrick, Gordan and Brian Williams. I've read the first book, which is Tunnels alone, but I've not read the second book, which is Deeper. It's mainly because of the size of the book. I read this last summer in 2019. The only problem which I faced with this book was that it was really good. It was good in every sense. The adventure aspect was really, really great, but it was such a slow moving book, guys. I'm usually okay with slow moving stories, but I felt like this was dragged on a lot. It's just 400 pages long, but it took me like nearly a month to read. Okay, so I don't know when I'd be getting to this. And also there's another reason why I'd not be reading this soon, because all the other books in the series in paperback, they are so expensive. I just looked it up in Amazon. I'm not even able to get used copies of any of these books. So if you're able to find used copies of books in this series for an affordable price, do let me know, because I'd like to have the entire series, and once I have this, I'll definitely read it for sure. Next series is one which I'm very excited to read, and it is the Renegades Trilogy by Marissa Meyer. Now, I've read the first book alone, which is Renegades. The second one, Arch Enemies, I've been having this for nearly 3 to 4 months right now. I've not got to it because I want to have the last book in the trilogy, which is Supernova. Now, this series is actually about people with superpowers, actually superheroes, and they are divided into two categories: superheroes as well as the anti-heroes. Both of them have great powers, and how they use it, that's what defines them actually. And the renegades are the good people. There is another group of superheroes called the anarchists, who are not actually the villains but the anti-heroes. I liked this one a lot. Actually, this was my most favorite book which I read in 2018, and I have been recommending it to a lot of people. One of my best friends, not one of my best friends, my most best friend, he's reading this one right now. I'm not sure if he had finished it or not, but I'm sure that he's reading it right now. It is such a fun ride, guys. If you've not tried this, do try it out, because you'll have such an amazing time while reading this book. The next one is technically not a series, but it is a series because it has the same character in all the books, and it's a thriller series, which is the Robert Langdon series by Dan Brown. I currently have 3 books, of which I've read the first one alone. I've not read these 2, which are The Lost Symbol and Inferno, but I'm expecting to get to these as soon as possible because I've heard great things about these. This is actually in my TBR for the month. I actually enjoyed this a lot. I also recommend this a lot to most people. 2 of my friends just love this book just as much as I do, and I want to get to these as soon as possible. I think there are also 2 or 3 more books in the series. The Da Vinci Code, which is the most famous of Dan Brown ever. I think that's the book which actually put him on the map, and also Origin. All these books actually fit into the same series technically, and I'd like to read them. We need not read them in any particular order. We can start anywhere and end anywhere. That's the best part about this series. The first read of mine was excellent, so I'm definitely going to get to these as soon as I can. The next series is the Dark Star Trilogy by Marlon James. Only 1 book is out now, and it is the first book in the trilogy, which is Black Leopard Red Rose. It's not that I have read this book at all. I tried reading this for 2 times, not just once but 2 times, guys. It is such a really hard book to read, because the writing in this, it's too peculiar, it's too weird, it's so difficult to read. Okay, yet it makes sense in a great number of ways. I actually have read nearly 300 pages of the book. I don't know how I went to such an extent of reading this book, because it is so tough. But if any one of you has ever read this at all, or if you know anyone who has read it, please ask them how they read it, and give me some tips on how to read this, because it is such a tough read for me. But I have to finish this book for sure, because it is such a rich book. Okay, it is rich in every sense. It is completely adult. It is so strong. There are a lot of issues with this book, yet I have to read this story as soon as I can. The last series is actually one which I'm not at all excited about. Okay, that's one of the main reasons why I put it in the last, and I didn't even buy this. I got this for free, and that's why it's been on my shelf, because it doesn't interest me that much. That's the main reason. And it is the 50 Shades Trilogy by E.L. James. E.L. James, right? Yeah, E.L. James. And it is an erotica thriller series. I know that there are a lot of fans for this series as well as a lot of haters. I don't know in which category I'll be once I end up reading these, but I'm sure that many people say that this book is offensive yet good. I don't know. I have to decide it on my own. I'll be reading this for sure, but I'm not sure about these two. If I end up liking this, I'll definitely finish the series. But if I don't end up liking these, I don't know what's going to happen to these things. I'll either be donating them or just selling them to the same person from whom I got it for free. Let's see what's going to happen. This is the least excited, so I've just added at the last. If any of you have read the 50 Shades Trilogy, please do let me know, because I want to know something about this before getting into that. Before getting into it actually. Okay, that's all for today, and do comment down what are the series that you have to catch up on or start as soon as you can. And if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.